guys, welcome to the Lifted to Life by Dana B podcast. I am Dana B. I thank you for listening to today's podcast. This podcast is not just about self-care, it's about discovering your authentic self. I want to butt. So last week, I was having lunch with one of my good girlfriends and over steamed crabs. If you are from the DMV area, you know steamed crabs are our favorite to eat. But they have to be good steamed crabs. Now, not getting steamed crabs just from any random place. You have to go to your specific places that know how to steam crabs well and season them well. So I was having lunch with my good girlfriend, and she and I, we meet up maybe once every 2 to 3 months to catch up. And so simple small talk over those steamed crabs. And she's asking about how my girls are doing and how my mom is. So I tell her that my youngest is in training before she goes on deployment later on this year. And I tell her that my oldest daughter and her boyfriend are gearing up to travel abroad for a couple weeks. And her response is, yeah, I want to travel abroad, but until she gives me her excuses. So then she asked how my mom was doing. And I told her, I said, my mom is doing great. My mother is 79 years old. She will be 80 in a couple weeks. My mother has not let any grass grow under her feet. My dad lets her travel. My mother is an active senior, which we absolutely love. And I told her, I said, my mom just came back from a 7-day cruise. And my girlfriend's response was, oh, that's nice. I have a friend who goes on cruises all the time. And she then says, I want to go on a cruise, but. And she comes up with these excuses. And I'm like, okay. And in all honesty, her butts, they were empty. They fell flat. They had no weight. In all honesty, they were just excuses. And understand this, that excuses hinder you from reaching your fullest potential. It is the excuses that hinder you from the joy, happiness, adventures, new ideas, new endeavors, new opportunities, new everything. You're missing out because you are making so many excuses and you continue to get in your own way. Now, last week I watched my favorite pastor, Pastor Marcus Cosby out of Texas. He preached a sermon titled No More Excuses. The scripture reference was from Exodus, and it was the story of Moses in the burning bush. And it was God who chose Moses to go to Pharaoh to tell him to let my people go. Well, if you know the story of Moses had a whole laundry list of excuses. All he kept saying to God was, but I don't know how to speak. But when I left there, they saw me as, they knew me as this. Now I'm that. Like, he had so many buts, but guess what? God had a rebuttal. His excuses fell flat on God. And first of all, you trying to come up with excuses for God with God, as if God does not know your story, as if God does not know your background, Moses. Are you crazy? So every excuse that Moses threw at God, God had a rebuttal for each and every single one of them. Your excuses are roadblocks to so many experiences and hindrances to seeing great things and accomplishments. See, we have this tendency to get in our own way because, let's face it, trying new things is scary. You are fearful of what's uncertain, the uncertainty, and what's around that corner. And let's also face it, you don't want to fail. But how do you know if you don't try? That's just as simple as that. How do you know if you do not try? One of my favorite books that I read years ago, and I think she re-released it, is by Shonda Rhimes. It's called Year of Yes, How to Dance It Out, Stand in the Sun, and Be Your Own Person. Roughly what Shonda did one year. Shonda said yes to everything. For an entire year, she said yes to everything. In her own words, it was exhilarating. So she had done things that she was afraid to do. She experienced new foods. She experienced new opportunities. She experienced like childlike experiences, seeing things new. Now, don't get me wrong. She did not do things that would threaten her life, okay? There were things that she just didn't do. But for an entire year, she said yes. And what are those things that are keeping you from saying yes? What's stopping you from saying yes? Yesterday when I woke up, I was feeling a little bit weepy, if you will. And I do from time to time, because I think of my good girlfriend that passed away, my sissy poo, that passed away in 2022, battling breast cancer. And one of the things about her is, number one, she had a huge impact on so many people's lives that loved her, that adored her, that truly she called friend. And she truly lived out loud in her life. And that is one of the many qualities that I loved about her. And when she got diagnosed, I think she got diagnosed in 2020. And once she got diagnosed, she lived her life even louder. As a matter of fact, she was solely focused on making memories on purpose. Hashtag MMOP. And that hashtag is one that was coined by another friend of mine, my muse. Her name was Trina, and she passed away from a very rare form of cancer. I can't remember what year it was that she passed away. But one of the things that Trina did was she made memories on purpose with friends, with families, with her son. Most importantly, posting pictures and videos of just everything that she was doing. When she went to Paris for Fashion Week, when she walked in fashion shows, because she was a model as well. And so when I think back yesterday, I was thinking back to my good girlfriend and her, what we did during her time with us after her diagnosis, is that we were making memories. Matter of fact, there's one photo that we took in New Orleans for my friend's 45th birthday. It's one of my favorite pictures. It's the morning of her birthday. We are waiting for a table to open up at this restaurant in New Orleans called the Red Slipper. And in this photo, it just shows our friendship and our love for one another. And we're just posing, me, my good girlfriend, and a friend of ours named Tracy, and we are just posing. And that was just an experience, because I had never been to New Orleans. And I mean, saying yes to New Orleans for my friend. And so as my girlfriend is sitting across the table from me, making up all these excuses, I just tell her flat out, I say, listen, we die once, but we live every single day. And once you are out of here, there is no going back to, oh, I forgot to do something. No, you got to do it now while the blood is running warm in your veins, while your heart is still beating, while you have the activity of your limbs. You cannot give the excuses as to why you cannot. Now, for health reasons, maybe you can't do certain things, but there are things in life that you want to accomplish and that you are fearful to try out because you keep saying, but. You keep saying, but. That but is an obstacle for you reaching your fullest potential. So here are some of the most common excuses people use that keep them from reaching their fullest potential. Number one, timing excuse. I'm too busy. The timing isn't right. Now, this is the ultimate procrastination tool. People convince themselves that a magical window of perfect, uninterrupted free time will open up in the future. When is there the perfect time? Has there ever been a perfect time? Not that I can remember. The reality is the perfect time is a myth. Like life will always be busy. Waiting for conditions to be flawless ensures that you will never start. Number 2, the resource excuse. I don't have enough money, experience, connections. This excuse shifts the blame from internal drive to external factors. It sounds incredibly rational, which makes it a very dangerous trap. Now, for instance, for myself, I need to finish my bachelor's degree. I have more credits behind me than I have ahead of me. And so, of course, when I was talking to one of my friends about going back to school, she was excited about it because she's all about education. But my worry was the cost. And so she looked at me and said, listen, all you have to do is go to the bursar's office and find out what options they have. And on top of that, find out if your job offers tuition reimbursement. So I went to the bursar's office of the University of Baltimore. That's the school that I attend. And I was told, hey, listen, we offer payment plans where you pay monthly and you pay like it's a 5 installment plan. Some of them are 4 installment plans. You pay monthly on that payment plan. And I said, wow. And the payments were affordable. So there was no excuse for me not to go. And I definitely didn't want to do student loans. And then I found out that my job offers tuition reimbursement. So what would be the excuse now? I'm able to pay that monthly and my job offers tuition reimbursement. Then there is the identity excuse. That's just not who I am. I'm not cut out for that. People often box themselves into fixed mindsets. They believe their talents, personality, and capabilities are set in stone. If they view themselves as shy, they won't network. If they view themselves as uncreative, they won't pitch new ideas. That is me, or was me, when it came to creating the Lifted to Life by Dana B podcast. I was so focused on what people would say, would think. I didn't think I had any new ideas, anything, but the voice of God and the voice of my good girlfriend said, Dana, you have life experiences. I'm an empty nester. I'm a woman over 50. I'm a divorcee. I'm a Black woman. I have natural hair. I am in college. There is so many different stories that I could tell. I had a hustler who was a hustler baby father, if you know what hustler means. I grew up in an abusive household. Like, I have stories to tell that I can share with people because these are people who will see themselves in me and relate to what I'm saying. You understand? Another reality. Identity is fluid. By refusing to step out of your comfort zone, you reinforce a self-imposed boundary that keeps you stagnant. The validation excuse. Nobody is supporting me. People will judge me. This excuse stems from a deep fear of social rejection. It sounds like my family doesn't get it, or what will people say if I fail? Honey, in the words of Taraji P. Henson, when you have 0 fucks to give, you have 0 fucks to give. At this big age of 53, I have no more fucks to give. Right? I may have had a lot of them in my bag back when I was in my 30s and probably my early to mid 40s. But in this big age of 53, I give 0 fucks about what people think and what people say. Point blank and the period. Adopt that mantra. I have 0 fucks to give. Okay? Waiting for unanimous permission or applause before you take action means you are letting other people write your script. Your potential belongs to you, not your critics. Oh my gosh. That's a word. Somebody call the pastor so we can pass the plate. That is a word. One of my favorite podcasters, Candace Braithwaite, I think that's her name. She said, I was going to say she said to me. Well, she was kind of talking directly to me. She said, one of the biggest critics is the committee in our head. Why do we continue to let the committee in our head tell us, or why do we wait for that committee in our head to give us permission to do what we want to do? Why do we let the committee, because here's the interesting part. She also said that we are the chair of the committee in our head. Why do we, as the chair of that committee in our head, let that committee tell us what we can and we cannot do? Why do we do that to ourselves? You have permission. Give yourself permission to be happy, to be excited, to do the things that you want to do without the excuses. At the core of every excuse are two driving forces, that is fear of failure and fear of the unknown. Excuses are uncomfortable because blaming an excuse feels better than risking a failure. Failures are like practice shots. You got to keep going. You got to keep going. When you finally drop the excuses and transition into a mindset of yes, you fundamentally alter how you interact with the world. It shifts you from a passive spectator of your own life to its active author. You are the author of the book of your life. That's it. You are the author of that book. So the ultimate shift of saying yes doesn't mean life suddenly becomes easy or problem-free. It means you have finally decided that the discomfort of growth is better than the suffocating safety of staying the same. Say yes. Say yes. Be that person that you have been wanting to become. Be that person that you wanted to be for the longest time. And watch what happens when you begin to say yes and you stop making excuses. So before I end today's episode, I want to leave you with this excerpt from Journey to the Heart. This is a book by the author Melody Beattie, and it's titled, What Would Make You Happy? Why don't you make yourself happy? Did someone tell you you couldn't be happy? Couldn't let life help you out? It doesn't matter who told you you couldn't have what you wanted. What matters is if you're still telling yourself that now. Yes, there are many situations in life in which we need to go without, do what needs to be done, get the job done. There are times when a particular purpose is served by depriving ourselves. But there are also situations, many more than we think, in which we can have what we want. There are moments when what we want matters. Look into your heart. Ask yourself what you want. What would feel good? What would bring joy? Is anything to be gained by depriving yourself a while longer? Get creative. Look around. What are some ways you could give yourself what you want? What could you do to create your life more to your liking? Give yourself what you want isn't selfish. It teaches others they can have more of what they want from life too. Use your imagination. Set yourself free. Let yourself see the pictures and feel the emotions of what would make you happy. Then take a moment, pause, and smile. You're beginning to get a glimpse of all you can have from God. Guys, listen, thank you so much for listening to today's episode. I really appreciate you. Send me an email. I love reading your emails. liftedtolife@gmail.com. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and I will see you all next time. Remember, no excuses. Have a great week.